Walker is on his way to Nungua now, the Krowa constituency, and he'll be there from 9 o'clock all the way till 10 a.m. So if you are in Nungua, you can look out for the TV3 van and speak to him when you see him about the water crisis in the constituency and how you are managing. He'll be visiting some of the health facilities as well as the schools, the Nungua Secondary School and the cluster of schools in the area. So we will not be talking about the water crisis on big issues. We are going to talk about other issues which are making the headlines and are equally important. But before that, I have a very special birthday request, which came in earlier that I couldn't do. So a very special 69th birthday to Mrs. Susanna Saki Apia of Medina. Wishing you good health, peace and love. And it's from your brother, Christopher Soa Mensah, here at TV3. He's our cameraman on TV3 New Day. Amazing, amazing gentleman. And he's wishing you the very best. Mrs. Susanna Saki Apia in Medina. You are 69 years old. Wow. Well, God bless you, and may you continue to live long in good health. Now, back to big issues this morning. We're going to be looking at two main issues making the headlines. First, we know that we have been told that the government has paid some 1.4 billion in some of the legacy debts which have accrued over the years. Now, while that's met some celebration, especially on social media, the NPP has said that, well, this is just, it's not necessary for these PR gimmicks, they call it, because this is nothing new and not something that we should be celebrating and going on about it on air or online. All right. Now, we'll bring you more information on that. So the government, according to the government statement, $1.470 billion has been paid. The World Bank risk guarantee of $597.15 million has been fully repaid, restoring the facility in full. Also, the government of Ghana, under the leadership of President John Dramani Mahama, has decisively resolved the crippling energy sector debt that posed one of the gravest risks to Ghana's financial stability. And the government has successfully renegotiated all independent power producer agreements to secure improved value for money for the people of Ghana. All right. These are just excerpts from the statement that came in after the announcement. We saw that press release. We can't bring you the full press release, but these are just excerpts of the release. Now, let's listen to the reaction of the minority on this matter. So, this was the reaction of the minority on the matter, and it was from Honorable Amin Adam, and he said, the NDC government does PR with everything. Paying energy sector debts of 1.4 billion is not new. As captured in the 2025 budget presented by the NDC government, the previous NPP government paid $1.4 billion of the energy sector debts in 2024 without making any noise about it. So this was the response that the NPP put out soon after we saw that release by the NDC government telling us exactly how much has been paid and how we are going to be restored. And this debt was one of the gravest risks to our financial stability. And we see that a lot of you have also been commenting. I'll read some of your comments as we go. This will be our first topic for discussion. We're also going to go on to the conversation on the gold board. Yesterday at the PAC meeting, we saw that the governor of the Bank of Ghana spoke extensively about the Gold for Reserves program, telling us about some audits that's going on, as well as the complete scrapping of the Gold for Oil program, which was done in May last year. But most importantly, he has asked for the Finance Ministry to step in to provide a refund for some of the costs of the operations of the Gold for Reserves program, as well as shouldering or taking up some of the costs moving forward, because it's not a cost that the Bank of Ghana can bear. We're going to go into it. Again, keep your messages coming in. I see some already coming in on our Facebook stream, but I want us to meet our guest in the studio now. In studio this morning, we have our lawyer, Austin Bracco Powers, joining us. Good morning, lawyer.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Great to have you.
And Happy New Year to your viewers.
You've been here this year?
No, this is the first time.
Oh, you weren't here last week?
Yeah, I wasn't
Right.
I was attending a conference outside, so.
Right. Great to have you.
Yeah,
Seated next to him is his learned friend.
My friend. My
lawyer.
friend.
Richmond Roxton. Were you classmates?
No. He's my junior by far.
But
we were student politics.
Oh, student politics. Undergrad level?
Yes.
Okay. I see. Well, great to have you.
Good to see you.
And meeting you on the first time, for the first time on the show, I believe, or second time?
I'm sure second time.
Second time. Not on this show. It was during the elections.
During the elections. No, I think we met a couple of times, like 2 times. This will be about the 3rd time.
So why am I struggling to pronounce your last name? So I can just call you Seth. But you pronounce your last name for me.
Dapla.
Say it again.
Dapla.
Dapla.
The I is not stressed.
Dapla.
Dapla.
From where?
Jirapa.
From Jirapa.
Yes.
Right. Of course. Okay. And in-house.
I'm the MP for Jirapa.
Yes, of course. Well, we have a conversation outstanding. And also in the studio this morning, our resident researcher, whose brain, I say, carries all of the research he has ever done and never forgets anything. Dr. Ramsey, great to have you in studio.
Thank you so much. Good morning to you. Good morning to your viewers.
Great to have you in studio. Now, we're going to go straight to begin with our energy sector conversation and the legacy debt which the NPP government, the NDC government has put forward that they have been able to pay up to $1.4 billion off. And it's great to have you, Seth, especially in studio this morning to kick off this conversation for us. Now, we have received some, or you have received some backlash since this information came out, that this is not new or special, and it's not something that we should be making any crusade or campaign about. Do you agree with this?
Let me say good morning to your cherished viewers, and then use the opportunity to say Happy New Year, because it's my first time in studio this year.
You too, right? The last time we saw you was
in December, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, was in December. It's important that we put the matter in its proper perspective, because if we look at the energy sector that was inherited by this government, to use the word challenging would be an understatement. It was a very, very difficult situation. The whole of 2024, there was load shedding every month in 2024. And typically for an election year, you would think that every government would want to look good. So no matter how bad your administration is, as we witnessed under the previous president, you would want to look good for the electorate to vote for you. Unfortunately, we're shedding load, and in December 2024, we're shedding load up to over 700 megawatts. 700 megawatts is like 3 times the plant of Ameri. So it should tell you the problem.
700.
Over 700 megawatts. And these are data that can be confirmed from Gridco. You can go under the RTI and then apply. And I'm sure that the information will be provided to you. And so it was a very difficult situation. If you recall, just before the swearing in of His Excellency the President, President John Dramani Mahama, at the time, my minister, Honorable Dr. John Jinapor, who was the spokesperson for the transition team on energy, disclosed that we had practically less than 3 days of liquid fuel available to power our thermal plant. Beyond that, there was a legacy debt to IPPs that at the time the figure provided was around 1.73 billion United States dollars. We also had a debt when it comes to this guarantee, the partial risk guarantee, which had been completely depleted. This partial risk guarantee is a very, very important guarantee. In 2014, when we're proceeding with the Sankofa project, again under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, he had to put together a World Bank guarantee to give the investor confidence that the gas consumed will be paid. This guarantee was $500 million. That had been completely depleted because the previous administration were using the gas and they were not paying for the gas. And so ENI and its partners were drawing down on the guarantee, which I'll call an LC, and you completely depleted it. Beyond that, you come to ECG itself. We had several debts. ECG's books showed that it owed about 80 billion cedis when we took over government. Beyond ECG as well, the management of the cash waterfall mechanism had been very abysmal. ECG goes out, collects the monies, and they were either underdeclared, or they were mismanaged, or they were directed to other persons, and they were just engaged in procurement. And so the government, led by His Excellency the President and my own boss, Honorable John Jinapor, had to put together a work plan, a comprehensive work plan to deal with the power sector challenges. The biggest headache of all the challenges would be the fiscal space, because as I've mentioned, the fiscal space was really troubling. And so as soon as possible, you had to engage all the players, all the stakeholders, and then see the way forward and how we're going to resolve those challenges. We started with how to keep the lights on. That was the most important thing. Because no matter what you do in this sector, if the lights are off, the people of Ghana will not forgive you for that.
Like the struggle we're having with the water now.
Yes, and you all attest to the fact that for several months now, there hasn't been any load shedding.
Yes.
And if you move away from 700 megawatts of load shedding, and in less than 4 months, you turn around the sector. And from April last year till today, not a single day have we shedded load.
How have you been able to do this?
It's discipline. That's what I'll call it. Yeah, the first will be fiscal discipline. And then second one will be just understanding the sector and know what to do. Because
it was a very short period within which you did this turnaround. That's the way you put it. So the question is that what are you doing differently that the previous administration could not do? And I don't mean to ask this in a political way, but it's just we're just curious to know how you've been able to do this.
The first one is that you had to deal with the fiscal challenge. How would you deal with the fiscal challenge if you are indebted to several IPPs, and then you also have collection issues? Definitely, you have to go in hard and ensure that you overturn the story. We took ECG, made a number of policy interventions at ECG. The first one was to increase ECG's collection, because ECG is like the pivot when it comes to energy sector. If you're able to deal with ECG, majority of your problems, you'll be able to handle that. And so the collections of ECG, as the finance minister mentioned in the budget, has increased by 90%. This is as a result.
We are paying our bills now.
Yes, it's better than before. The staff of ECG are collecting more than they used to collect. Also, there was a cabinet decision in April last year that all state institutions should pay for power consumed. There was no exception when it comes to payment. What the exception will be that you understand that certain institutions are critical institutions, like health, security, and education, and even that is not across board. When you go to an educational center, the lecture halls will be exempted. Even that, you're going to pay for electricity consumed using their budgets under goods and services. So it's not free.
Were state institutions not paying for
No.
electricity previously?
I mean, your neighbor owed almost 1 billion cedis. Had to go there to go and...
when I say not paying, I mean, well, they were in debt.
Yes.
But it's not that they were not being billed.
They were not paying. They were billed, but they were not paying.
They were billed, but
yes,
they were not
paying.
paying.
They were not paying. A lot of these institutions. And that's why moving from last year till now, the Ministry of Energy is supervising the policy of His Excellency the President to install prepayment meters in all offices of state institutions. If you won't be able to buy or prepaid, at the end of the day...
So they will buy it like we buy it?
Yes, just like everyone. You buy it, so you consume it. Once it's done.
When is this taking place?
No, it started. So the installations have started already. ECG is implementing that.
In all state institutions?
Yes, that is the policy.
Prepaid meters?
Yes, except those 5 institutions that were that were exempted.
Okay.
Those ones will pay their bills using a portion of their goods and services under the budget.
Okay.
And so that intervention alone led to ECG's collections going up. And so once you had ECG's collections going up, what it meant is that you're going to have more monies under the cash waterfall mechanism. And that is why in 2024, the whole year, the monies that were disbursed to utility service providers under the cash waterfall mechanism was over 6 billion. As at Q3 last year, this government had disbursed over 13 billion cedis. Q3, that is September 2025, to utility service providers. And currently, we are current with IPPs. When we say we are current, every month they will bring you their bills and they will pay them. And that is why for a long time, you haven't heard any IPP threaten that they are going to put off the lights or they are going to stop power generation. And that's one of the reasons why your lights has been kept on. Now back to the payments that has been made, which the former finance minister describes as a PR gimmick. If you have an administration coming with all the challenges that you've had, and in your first year, you're able to pay $1.47 million.
Billion, yes,
yeah. $1 billion. That is phenomenal. The IPP debt.
Where did the money come from?
The monies came from a number of sources. Some GOG, some will come from ESLA as well. When I say GOG, will be monies that the government itself has raised. And then the ESLA, we know that we have the Energy Sector Levies Act, which His Excellency passed in 2015, which was supposed to have a sunset clause of 5 years. Unfortunately, because of mismanagement and redirection, we still have ESLA today.
You still have funds in ESLA?
No, I mean, once you're buying fuel every now and then, definitely it's part of the component. And so...
because we heard that it was depleted.
Yes, but it's a recurring fund. So if you buy fuel today, you're going to contribute to the fund as well. And so those are the innovative ways that the government have been able to raise revenue.
The $1.47 billion.
And let me state
over what period?
Over the period last year.
Over the last 1 year?
Yeah, last year. And it's more than that. And that is where Honorable
As in you paid more than that?
More than that. The monies that we spent in the energy sector last year by GOG is more than the $1.47 billion. And that's why I said that's where the MPP gets it wrong. What the statement put out captured three critical payments. The first one was the payment to IPPs, part payments to IPPs, which is almost $400 million. And then the second one has to do with the restoration of the gas, the guarantee for the gas, which the previous administration depleted and caused us to pay over almost $100 million in interest rates. And the third one will be outstanding payments for gas supply to ENI and Vitol for Sankofa. Those payments are separate from other payments that have been made. For example, the payment to VRE. If you notice, we didn't capture any payment to any of the state institutions under the energy sector. And if you add those payments, which I'm sure with time, the Ministry of Finance will put that out, so I'm sure they're doing that. Beyond that, there are payments to TALU, which had not been captured in there as well. There are payments to NGAS, there are payments to WAPCO. And then there's, in fact, as at Q3 last year, the data showed that we have spent about $400 million on liquid fuel. That has not been captured here. If you put together what I've even disclosed here, if we're going over $2 billion United States dollars within the period under review, and they're still doing the tabulation of how much was spent entirely last year. And so it is not a PR gimmick.
Over 200 billion.
Over 2 billion.
Over 2 billion,
yes. So it exceeds far the number that we put out, which the finance ministry put out. The number the finance ministry put out was focusing on the three critical areas which I've disclosed. Once they add the other payment, it will go more than that. And if you are going to even add the cash waterfall mechanism, that would have exceeded it by far. Okay. And so it's not PR. It is a deliberate attempt, a conscious effort by the Minister for Energy and Green Transition, Honorable Dr. Jinapo, and his colleague, the Finance Minister, Honorable Atuforsen, with the tacit support of His Excellency the President, to ensure that we turn around the energy sector that we met. What we met was bizarre. What we met was threatening our country. It was not just businesses, not just our homes, even our security as a country. And if the government has made such progress, I don't think that somebody should be describing it as PR. What you should rather be doing. Let me learn. What you should rather be doing is to commend the government for making payment. Look at the statement released by the IPPs. There's a portion, yes, there's a statement.
We're going to bring you portions of that statement.
There's a line in that statement where they say that payment has restored confidence, investor confidence, both domestic and international, and that it considers Ghana as a reliable partner. That is very critical. And you know what has happened? Since last year, as a result of the turnaround, a lot of these IPPs that did not want to do any business with Ghana have come with new projects. Some have come that they want to expand.
Okay.
Some have come, and you have other investors also coming on board because now they have confidence in government and they know that when you deal with the government, you get your payment.
And this is since the payment?
Since last year, because of the turnaround, because we're making payment. There's if I can mention it, NGAS came to the minister. And when they came, what they told the minister was that if he was in Nigeria, he would have been described as Oga Tok Nadu. Because when he says it, he does it. And that is the confidence that investors have in our country today because of the turnaround.
The Honourable Member of Parliament for Karaga does not agree with this at all. I'm sure you saw his statement, Honourable Dapla.
Good morning to you. Good morning to your distinguished viewers and my colleague panelists around this platform. Politics all the time. But you see, nobody celebrated this. It is just what it is. Ghanaians, upon hearing the news, were so happy. In fact, what the former finance minister, my brother Amin Anta, did, I think that sometimes...
When you said former finance minister, I thought you were referring to...
We are friends. He's a brother. But I think that they should not jump to do politics with everything. In fact, you see, this one, we should have done a fried rice party. We didn't do that.
You should have done what?
Fried rice.
They did KK
party. Yeah, they did KK party even when they follows. You understand? Right. We didn't do that. It's just a statement. And the statement was put out there to tell Ghanaians and everybody that this is what it is. We are credit worthy. We've cleaned our books as far as the energy sector levy or debt is concerned. So there's nothing political about it. Now let me tell you something. When ESLA was instituted or established to resolve the energy sector legacy issues, you understand? And they did so much in the collection. Let me give you some stats. 2017 they collected 3.2 billion. 2018, they collected 3 billion. 2019, they collected 3.8 billion. 2020, they collected 4.5 billion. 2021, 6.3 billion. 2022, 6.7 billion. 2023, 5.7 billion. Now,
and this is Ghana cedis.
This is Ghana cedis. Now, with all these collections, yet, they never use the money for its intended purpose. That is why the debt was still there.
See, so
you understand? So if somebody has come out of prudence, out of diligence, out of, I don't know how to put it. If somebody has come into office within a year, this debt was paid. This money was paid by 31st December. This thing that we are discussing today, it wasn't in January that it was paid. So if someone has come, monies that were meant for a particular purpose, you use the money, you put in your consolidated fund and use it capriciously the way you wanted it without actually paying the debt, clearing the debt. A government has come within a year and has cleared the debt. You can only praise such a government. So there's no need doing politics with it. What Ghanaians want is that we want to have our lives on. Businesses, you see, the economy can't be doing very well when you have problems in your energy sector. We know what the energy sector does as far as the economy of this country is concerned. I'm happy the two ministers are gelling so well as far as this issue is concerned. Those days, we had some issues previously. You see, if you are an energy minister, if you are the energy minister and you and the finance minister are not gelling, you go to finance to support, make some payment, or enact some bills or act that will enable you deal with the energy sector issues, and the finance minister or finance ministry is not doing it, you have a problem. I think we encountered that in the previous Mahama administration, and that was the reason why EXLA was instituted or established to deal with legacy issues. So if they had actually gone ahead with the EXLA alone could deal with this issue without, putting our hands in government, GOG funding and all of that. So there's no need for anybody to do a press conference on this. We never did any party to celebrate this. The Ministry of Finance never organized any party. They were there, when they were in power, they would borrow and then do a party. That was never done. So they should praise us. All we want is that, all Ghanaians want is that the lights should be on. Industries wants, power to be able to produce. You cannot build an economy without the power sector. So they should praise us.
Maybe this is off topic, but why do politicians feel the need to always, should I say, talk down on the achievements of their opponents, irrespective of, whether it's an obvious, success?
Yeah, now that is the difference. That is the difference. We have some politicians. That's why sometimes. Are
you about to say the NDC doesn't do that?
Oh, nah. For me, I don't believe so. Why? What the finance minister, what the minority should have been telling us is that it's not true that the 1.4 billion was paid. If he had come to tell us that, the energy minister lied, but the finance minister did not pay 1.4 billion, then we will understand. But for you to come and say that it's not a novelty, when indeed there was even a fund that was meant to clear the energy sector levy, you didn't do under your watch. 8 years.
They say they also paid 1.4.
Yeah, they paid. You see, the EXLA was meant for a particular period of time. It was supposed to clear the energy sector debt within a 5-year period. Yeah. They didn't do that. The money was being used, and we were cautioning that. I remember Dr. G4R, then as ranking, was cautioning. Use the money for its intended purposes. They never heeded to it. The money was being diverted for other purposes. And that is why the debt is still on our books until 31st December, that out of prudence, the current managers of the economy, Dr. Atuforsen, Finance Minister, Dr. G4R, put their heads together to clear this with the support of the president. Let's praise them. Let's praise the NDC government.
All right.
Instead of
let me come to you.
To do the usual politics.
This payment a genuine fiscal progress for us?
Well, on principle, yes, I concur to that allusion that indeed it is a gain for us. But let us not celebrate this gain so much, because the underlying issues that have contributed to the debt are still not solved. Today, as we speak, and I'm glad that we have the board chairman for NETCO, our transmission losses as a country is almost 35%. Some have even argued that it's 40%. So when we produce power, we lose about 40% due to transmission. Then we come to the distribution aspect, which ECG is managing. With that aspect, we're losing about 35% to commercial and technical losses. So even if we pay our debts, okay, the whole energy sector or system is still porous. And so we would incur further debt if we do not solve it. It's like fetching water from a well with a basket instead of a bucket. No matter how much water you pour into the basket, it will still seep out.
Richmond has just told us about the major, if you like, policies that have been put in place to turn around issues in the sector. You listened to him. Are you convinced by any of the things that he said?
Well, now I can say without any iota of doubt that Dr. G4R, to me, is one of the best performing ministers under this regime. I mean, if you look at the strides he has made in the energy sector, it's unprecedented. I mean, at a particular point in time, Ghanaians were told to go and find their own timetable for Dumso.
We call it Dumcc.
Right? Dumso. At a particular point in time, indeed, when Ameri was relocated to Kumasi, the cost of bringing even Ameri from Turkey was about $3 to $5 million. If my Roxanne would confirm or verify this thing I'm saying, because he is within that space. He is in the Ministry of Energy. The cost of transporting Ameri from Turkey to Ghana was about $3 to $5 million. But then, all of a sudden, I do not know how it is geologically possible or geographically possible that the distance between Turkey and Ghana, right, is shorter than the distance between the western region and then Kumasi.
Yeah.
This is why won't we have issues with our energy debt? Why won't we accrue a lot of debt? Nah? And you see, Roxanne, we believe that your government should take these matters on. One of the reasons why the people of Ghana voted massively against the MPP, and the reason they didn't choose us and they chose you, is because of your aura. If today we're talking about the facts of this matter, people need to be prosecuted. And the amendment of ESLA also has helped them. If you look at our consumption for petroleum products, diesel, and then gasoline, which is petrol, in the half year of 2025, Q2 of 2025, consumption was about 3.6 billion liters. So I'm even estimating that by the end of 2025, consumption was doubled, which was about 7.2 billion. Now, if you relate it to the 1 cedi per liter, it means that ESLA is bringing in, I would estimate, about 7.2 billion cedis each year, right? And because they've also been able to stabilize the prices of fuel, right, by stabilizing the forex through the gold board, the domestic debt exchange program, and other prudent fiscal management of the economy, right? This 1 cedi per liter has not really had any significant effect on inflation by consumers. And I believe that that is also part of the reasons why they're able to amortize and pay off some of their debt. So kudos to this government. I mean, we believe in a responsible opposition. When it is right, we say it. When it is wrong, we criticize. So as far as the management of the whole energy sector is concerned, I think that they have done well. But now, I believe that we need to decentralize power supply in this country. If you look at the Great Transformational Plan, we have said that at least we should have some form of regional power enclaves. So Kumasi should have its own power source, different from that of Accra, then not being supplied by Bui, not being supplied by Akosombo, and not being supplied by the Atuabo gas plant. But it should be centralized within Kumasi to supply the whole Ashanti region. Greater Accra should also have its own, in order to mitigate the issues of transmission losses. I believe that this would be a significant investment model if we go by it. Now, to do with our energy mix, I have sat on this platform to criticize our policymakers, how they allowed Ghana's energy mix to be dominated by fossil fuel and by means of thermal power plants. Today, if you look at our energy mix, 70% of our electricity comes from thermal power plants. And so if at any time or point in time, the exchange rates or the dollar does not favor us, we would have increase in electricity costs. And that also affects ECG's repayments to IPPs through the cash waterfall mechanism. So that is an issue. And to tackle that, we are proposing to this government. I have heard them say that they have begun talks and they are putting in a policy in place. Kwame Nkrumah started it as far as the 60s. He established the Atomic Energy Commission, which he foresaw that there will be a rise or an increase in the population. There will be a demand in electricity, and therefore nuclear energy will be a cheaper and efficient and cleaner way to supply electricity to industries and the people. So we should look at nuclear energy as an option rather than depending on these thermal power plants.
Because is it similar to what exists in Tema that covers the free zones area?
Yes, enclave, is it enclave power?
The
Yes.
enclave power.
Yes, enclave
Okay.
power, that's right.
All
So
right.
such a model would also work for us. You understand? And to end on this, now, ECG has to be privatized in terms of...
Privatized?
Yes, in terms of its billing, metering, and collection.
Some aspect of
Some aspect of its
Okay.
operations, yes.
Okay.
Its retail and commercial aspect has to be privatized.
Billing?
Metering, and then collection. I believe that in order for us to clear more debts ahead of us, if we're able to privatize the operations of ECG, it will go a long way to mitigating our debt stock as far as our energy sector is concerned.
I think is one of the suggestions that came up the last time.
It's not even a
It's a
suggestion.
recommendation.
No, so what has happened is that Cabinet, which is chaired by His Excellency the President, has approved that it will be PSP.
It has been
private,
approved.
Yes, private sector participation.
How did you settle the disagreement with your
No, so the principle has been
your
approved.
ECG folk?
What we are going through now is the implementation, the process to implement. And that is why when we're going through the process of getting a transactional advisor, they were fighting back. But we're engaging them. And I've always said that these engagements have never stopped. In fact, the only group I can say confidently that if they call minister at 8 o'clock, 8:10, he will
Yes, you
respond.
said that last
It's
time.
to-
So the approval is for the private sector
Yes,
participation.
yes.
But we don't know specifically which aspects of
Yes,
your
so at
operations
this
they
po-
will
yes,
handle.
So at this point in time, you're looking at billing and collection, you're looking at parts maintenance, metering, but that is the work of the transaction advisor.
All right. Okay. All right.
But a number of things that I will respond to, maybe when Leonard
When
is there, and then-
Barack Powers finishes.
Now, I think this is good news, and I just don't understand why the opposition New Patriotic
I'm
Party.
sorry. Before you go, I'm told we're joined on Zoom by a mining consultant, Seth Clay. Are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you.
Sorry for keeping you on for so long. Pardon us for that. But we'll join you. We'll come to you shortly when we begin our conversation on the gold board and related matters. But welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Back to you.
So I'm saying that, do you know why some business people can own millions of cedis and still sleep soundly at night? The answer lies in responsible debt management.
Can own?
Yes.
I thought you said can own.
No, can
so
own.
I wondered why you
Can
won't
own.
sleep when you have millions. Okay.
Can own millions. You know, and I think the thing is that we must recognize what this government has done. Because if they had not cleared the debt, they would have further crippled or destabilized an already fragile energy sector. That is why I see the commentaries by some elements or actors of the opposition, New Patriotic Party, as one that does not advance constructive opposition and also the debates. The thing is simple. Was there a debt to be cleared? The answer is yes. So if clearly there was a debt to be cleared and this government has done it, what is the fuss about? I think Ghanaians continue to demand a government that is honest, responsible, and transparent about difficult fiscal realities and informing Ghanaians that we have cleared $1.4 billion of legacy energy sector debt. In fact, it is consistent with that expectation. So I see nothing wrong with that. Because, you see, if the debt had been left unresolved, it would have damaged our investor confidence. And even it would have undermined power generation. And even it would have even caused, serious economic downturn in this country. So this government has done well. We must not say it is a mere political public relations. That should not be, because sustained opposition should not be always criticized. And you well articulated that. Why is it the case that every time government does something which is commendable, the opposition will have an issue with it? it is a recurring challenge with our political system, which we all need
on both sides.
Yes, on both sides. And I won't say the NDC is angelic. They do that. They also did that when they were in opposition. The NDC did that when they were in opposition. So sometimes when I sit back, I ask myself, why do we continue to take this path? Because it's not fanciful. It doesn't help us. We cannot continue to do this type of politics in this country and hope to benefit. When government does something that is commendable, go out. But see, now, in governance, there are moments restraint is more effective than reaction. What Dr. Mohammed Amin Dramani said. Amin Adam said it was needless. Because it would have been better for him to have kept quiet than to put out. Because what the government did is not unprecedented. And I'm not saying the government per the statement, they didn't say they have done what Nkrumah or Co could not have done. They are telling us that, they have cleared this debt. And that is enough. Because we voted for the government to what? To tell us every step on the way what they are doing. And if they had inherited debt, some obligations, and they are taking measures, corrective measures to address that, I think it is well within their right to inform us. And like some people have said, they didn't even organize press conference. It was just a press release.
Yeah.
This is a modest means of communicating information to the public. What if they had done a press conference? That would have been a major one where the media will be, all the media houses will cram around and they will be feeding the public. We should be able to sometimes acknowledge when good things happen, because that's how we progress as a country. Because if you cannot defend your own government, you expect a foreigner to do that for you. That won't happen. So now for me, but this is what I believe. I think that ultimately it's not about political point scoring. But what matters to me, whether the commitment will translate into sustained reforms, fiscal discipline, as Doc has referred to, and tangible improvement in the energy sector. These are the things we are looking at. Debt will accrue repeatedly, but let's address the challenges, the inherent challenges with the energy sector, so as to further inject confidence in not only the IPPs, but Ghanaians, because we must also because we should not be sleeping thinking that tomorrow our lights will be off, or tomorrow we may face crippling challenges.
We need a reassurance.
We need, and let me point out that the minister or the Ministry of Information has indicated that they've made budgetary provisions, they've secured budgetary provisions to clear future debts per the statement. I think this is commendable. This assurance is encouraging, but it must not remain just a statement. There must be consistent actions or execution and transparency. Because the previous government told us they were coming to clear debt. Later, they ended up leaving larger debts. So there must be consistent execution and transparency. You are telling us that you have secured adequate budgetary provisions to clear future debt. Be consistent and let's walk the talk.
Roxanne has just told us that one of the ways they are going to ensure efficient energy delivery or efficiency in the sector is the private sector participation, which they are hoping would cover some areas like billing and metering and collection. Are you convinced that this is the way?
Now, we've had this conversation before. I have my personal misgiving with regards to the PSP. I have said that it's just a ruse.
Oh, yes, you said you don't trust
that. Yes, it's just a ruse.
That it's going to be sold.
Exactly. It's just a ruse. It's just a ruse. So,
assuming that it is going to be private sector participation just for the areas that he has said, all right, do you believe that this is the way to inject efficiency into the sector?
Now, given this fact, without believing what they had earlier communicated, given this fact, I think it will help us because these are key areas the ECG is currently challenged.
Yeah.
So if we want to address them, it is all the better because even it strengthens ECG and helps the organization to deliver its mandate to Ghanaians. I think this government has the best opportunity, the goodwill to, in fact, do a lot of good things that will outlive previous governments or let me say future governments.
Okay.
So if they do the right thing, it will be to their credit. But if they are just politics as usual, then that will be a case for everybody to talk about.
All right. Roxanne, you wanted to respond to something that Doc spoke earlier, and then we'll move on to our next topic.
Yes, few reactions. As I stated earlier, because of the kind of power sector this government inherited, there's a comprehensive plan to deal with the power sector. It's not just one. It's not just one touch, or it's not. No, there's a comprehensive work plan that you are following as a government. If you look at what I mentioned earlier with ECG, when we came into government, ECG's technical, that's what we call AT&C, aggregate technical and commercial losses were around 40%. As we speak, it's around 23%. If you look at, yes, that's a significant reduction. If you look at ECG itself, when we came, their procurement policies, it led to a lot of debt on ECG's books. We had a system where ECG procures, the supplier just dumps it at the port, and then will present its invoice to be paid. That policy has been changed. Now you have to deliver the goods to ECG's designated warehouse for it to be verified before payments will be made. And that alone has led to a lot of reforms when it comes to ECG. Beyond that, look at the maintenance culture. ECG's maintenance culture has changed. In fact, when we came into government, for a long time, they were not doing major maintenance. And it's not just with ECG, it was across board.
Why?
I don't know why the previous government was doing that.
You said when you came in?
Yes, when we came, they were not doing that. Under the previous
Previously.
administration, yes. What we've done, even with ECG, is that ECG has more maintenance teams now across. And we're giving them a KPI. One of their KPIs is that the response rate when there's a phone call or a complaint from a client should be less than an hour, no matter where it is, to be able to go and detect the problem and then put out the plan to resolve it. And then when it comes to the generation side, we had a lot of plants down when we came, to the extent that for some of them, we were almost getting legal issues with it because the plants were threatened. For want of a better word, the quality or efficiency of the plants were threatened because we're not doing maintenance as it's supposed to be. That issue has been dealt with. Last year, lots of the plants underwent the maintenance that they were supposed to go. On the issue of energy mix, we recognize that as governments, that 70% of thermal is dangerous because for thermal, you still have to be buying fuel. Either you're buying natural gas or you're buying liquid fuel. And so as a policy of this administration, which we've signed on to under the Mission 300, by 2030, we aim to have at least 10% of our energy mix as renewable. And that drive is already ongoing. That's why His Excellency the President changed the mandate of the ministry from Ministry of Energy and added Green Transition. Under the Green Transition, we've set up a Renewable Energy Directorate under the ministry. So far, there are construction of mini grids across the country. Mini grids, they are under solar, to areas where it's difficult for you to take transmission. So recently we are around Adan, part of Adan. We went to part of the Volta region, the OT regions, because those areas are difficult to reach and the transmission lines do not get there. So you intend to install over 150 mini grids across the country to deal with that.
And they're powered by solar?
By solar, yes. And then beyond that, on the major streets across the country, we have started the process of changing the off-grid street lights to solar street lights.
Okay.
Last year alone, we did about 23,000 street lights last year. This year, the government intends to do more by installing, because one thing that the ministry noticed, or was taking notice of, is that between off-peak and then peak period, you have a deficit of about 400 to 500 megawatts. And the solar streets, the street lights alone contribute significantly to that as well. So if you take these off-grids off the streets and replace them with solar, that deficit will be available for you to use during peak time. So that is also being handled. For nuclear, a lot of work has been ongoing when it comes to nuclear. There's a Nuclear Power Ghana as we speak. There's an executive director that they are working tirelessly to ensure that we have nuclear as part of our energy mix. And so
Nuclear
it is...
Power Ghana?
Yes, Nuclear Power Ghana is one of the agencies under the ministry.
But authority too is there.
Is,
No.
Sorry, is this an agency that has already been in existence?
Yes, that's the
All
name
right.
of, yes, Nuclear Power Ghana. And then that agency is the agency in charge of nuclear.
And their mandate is to do what?
Is to ensure that we have nuclear as part of our energy mix. And so very soon, as a country in Ghana, we'll be producing power using nuclear. That's one of them. And that is under this administration. And lots of conversation, a lot of collaborations between Ghana and some of the advanced countries. I don't want to put the names out, that have these technologies are ongoing. And so for the energy mix, we are dealing with the energy mix.
Hopefully we can have an extended conversation on this Nuclear Energy Commission soon.
Not just the nuclear.
To understand, and in fact, the entire entire energy sector and the work you're doing.
Yes.
Because the more you speak, the more I realize there's a lot more we need to put out there, and we need to understand as a people. I saw a post that was asking why we are not considering adding solar to our energy mix on a larger scale.
Oh no, in fact, this year,
especially for the state agencies that owe so much.
Yes, let me speak to that. This year, the minister, Dr. John Jinapor, has said that this year is going to initiate ambitious projects. One of the ambitious projects that we intend to do this year, which he has tabled to cabinet, is a 200 megawatt solar-backed battery. 200 megawatts is a game changer. That's huge. So it's one of the projects that this year that administration will be doing. Beyond that, like I've mentioned, a number of solar projects. BoG is also doing some solar projects as well. And I will say that I know you have limited time.
Yes, but still on solar, how is maintenance of solar panels, etc., in terms of the cost of maintenance?
No, the cost of maintenance is relatively cheaper compared to it's the setup that is expensive. Even with that, if you compare the last 5 years, the cost of solar is dropped drastically. And that is why the government took advantage to renegotiate some of the solar PPAs. One of them was 20 cents per kilowatt hour. As of today, it's 6.5. And so as a government, you're spending
6.5 cents
per kilowatt hour. So you're spending $20 million each month. What it means is that now you'll be spending $6.5 million getting the same power. And that is why that renegotiation has saved this country $252 million in fiscal money that would have paid.
And that's for the initial installation?
Yes, that is for even under the IPPs.
Okay.
So that's part of the work plan. And that's why I mentioned that it is not just pick and choose. It's a comprehensive work plan that the government is dealing bit by bit to ensure that we turn around the sector. And even with NEDCO, the NEDCO board chair is here. Last year, when you look at NEDCO's revenue collection, it's gone up significantly by 43%. And that is because of the work they are doing there. And so everybody in the sector is contributing their portion to ensure that we have a cleaner and a better energy sector. If we don't do that, like I mentioned earlier, as a country, we'll be very, very threatened. Our development, education, industries, we don't deal with the energy sector, we are going to have problems. And that is why we have the commitment of His Excellency himself, and then you have the safest pair of hands, Dr. Jinapor, to deal with these problems.
I'm going to ask you to maybe commit or promise us an exclusive one-on-one, maybe for an hour or two, with the minister, so we can go into further details about all of the plans and policy ideas that you are yet to implement, and the ones that you're already implementing, and what you're doing in the sector.
Very soon, the Honorable John Jinapor will speak, and it's important that he'll put out where he met the ministry, what he's done, and his vision for the ministry. So it's something that he has penciled to do.
Okay.
When he came in, he was speaking. Unfortunately, the workload took him out, so I took over the communication over the period. But very soon, I'm sure he will grant one or two interviews.
Even though you're doing a fantastic job doing the communication.
He's a minister.
Honorable, this is a personal invitation to you. We look forward to having a one-on-one with you to speak into detail about the energy sector and all the work that you're doing. Honorable.
Now, just a quick one. You see, in all of this is that my brother Roxanne talked about with regards to what has been done so far, how the minister took what he inherited, and how far we have come in the energy sector. Now, it all boils down to discipline. It all boils down to, prudent management.
And
So,
competence.
and let me tell you, I've watched the finance minister interview. Then they asked him, what is he doing different from his colleague, the former finance minister? He said it's physical discipline. Now, you have to be disciplined. If you are a worker, you earn 2,000, and your monthly expenditure is 5,000, you are in crisis. So you should spend within your means what you earn. Basically, that is what we are doing. So sometimes you even hear some of our party members who are like, why, we have to be spending. We are spending in relevant areas, areas that will sustain the economy. You understand? You see, there's no government that will come and put monies in our pocket for free. But when the environment is created, they create enabling environment, there's power ongoing. So everybody will be able to work, use power to transact your business. So that is basically what we are doing. So kudos to the finance minister, kudos to the energy minister. And the ECG that he talks about, look, so far, I'm the board chairman for NEDCO. When you see the MDs and the board chairman and board members within the energy sector, look, now, you will know that these are a group of serious persons who have been appointed to really deal with the energy sector issues. ECG, the MD, what's the name? Engineer Pepena.
Yes.
A very disciplined man. When he appeared before the Foreign Public Accounts Committee, of which I am a member, he felt bad, but that was not his regime. His regime, he didn't, he was defending the previous administration. You understand? All the things that happened there, the over-procurement, you procure things that you don't even need in the next 10 years. You procure items that you don't need in the next 15 years. Over-expenditure. That was needless. And I know that man will not do that. I know the energy minister won't supervise over such. And that is basically why we are getting out of the woods as far as the energy sector crisis is concerned. It's fiscal discipline. Fiscal discipline,
Yeah. Spending within your means.
Yes, so important.
And that just reminds me of one of the comments I saw under our post just now, how we are able to keep the lights on and still pay our debts. It's a puzzle.
Yeah.
And we look forward to having that conversation very soon. But let's move on to our next topic now. Yesterday, before the Public Accounts Committee, we heard the governor of the Bank of Ghana speak. He spoke about many things, including who should bear the financial responsibility of the costs, which in some other quarters has been described as losses, that the Gold Board, through the Gold for Reserves program, have accrued. Now, he's asked that the Ministry of Finance bear the cost, or, in fact, he's asked for a refund of some of the monies that the Bank of Ghana has had to bear. Let's just bring you a snippet of what happened at the Public Accounts Committee yesterday. Take a look.
There are inherent costs in the trading model. That inherent cost is currently being borne by the Bank of Ghana, not just in 2025, but since the program started. The Bank of Ghana, due to what has happened since 2022, we are not in a position to shoulder those costs going forward. As we speak, we are having a conversation with the minister to see if they can reimburse us even for those costs that were passed on to Bank of Ghana since 2024. So going forward, the key thing or the key question is who takes charge of the costs incurred in that exercise? The Gold for Oil, or the G4O, since May of last year, we had to shut that down. An external audit is underway currently, and that entire program is being audited. The Gold for Reserves, that is the G4R. There also, there's an external audit that's been authorized by the Bank of Ghana board, both from when it started until the end of 2024, thereabout. We believe that going forward, what we have to do is to reform them, to reduce the cost further, to treat them as quasi-fiscal interventions. The net loss for the Gold for Reserves, the losses in 2023, was 1,054,840 Ghana cedis. Then in 2024, the net loss for the gold for oil was 1.8 billion Ghana cedis in 2024. On the other hand, the net loss for the gold for reserves in 2024 was 3.8 billion Ghana cedis.
All right, and that was the governor of the Bank of Ghana yesterday speaking at the Public Accounts Committee on the Gold for Reserves program and the costs thereof and who should bear the cost. Let's come straight to Zoom and speak to our mining consultant who has just joined us, Seth Wolashime. Hello, Seth.
Hello, Una.
Thank you for staying. Glad you're still with us. Let's get straight into it. The governor asked the question, who should bear the costs? And he's asking for a share of the financial responsibility, inviting the Ministry of Finance to pay, basically, for the operational costs and some of the costs that the Gold for Reserves program has incurred. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, it sounds very strange because if you are implementing a program like the Gold for Reserve, I'm sure that for you to buy and make sure that you don't lose money, you should be factoring in all costs and other things based on which you will be able to buy without incurring these losses. So basically, it sounds very strange. Gold is a commodity that is traded worldwide, and I don't see the reason why we should be incurring this cost. And in any business, the price build-up includes the cost. So I'm at a loss, to tell you the truth.
You are at a loss that we are incurring costs, or you are at a loss that is inviting the Ministry of Finance to pay?
No, I'm at a loss that, we will not build, have a price build-up that will avoid these kind of
Costs.
Costs which we are now trying to Google as a loss. I hope you get me.
Yes.
And in any case, this Gold for Reserve program, I think that they buy the gold and put it in reserve. Now, if you look at the trend from 2022 to today, gold prices have appreciated by 155%, because in 2022 the average price of gold per ounce was 1,801 thereabout. Today we are talking about 2,600 US dollars per ounce. So if you have those gold in reserve, you should be revaluing those reserves to reflect current prices. So maybe they are not doing something correct. That's what my mind tells me. Because you compare 2023, where gold price was around 1,940 average price over the year, and today the gold price is 4,600. So whatever stock we had in 2023, and by the end of 2023, if we revalue, we
should be making more.
We'll be making some money. So I don't get the picture. I think we need to really sit down and look at what they are doing, how they are doing it. Because if you have gold in reserve, which has appreciated, what are we talking about?
All right.
People who don't even have gold in stock, who are trading gold on paper, are making money. All right? So if you have the gold in stock, then I'm surprised we are talking about this cost, which we are now labeling as losses, for which they are now asking the finance ministry to reinvest them. I think that there's something fundamentally wrong, and we need people who understand that industry to sit down, analyze the program, look at the models they have, and then come up with something which will stand the test of time. The whole idea of gold for reserve is a superb one, but we need to, manage it properly.
All right, Seth, I believe when we listened to the Gold Board CEO when this matter of the cost versus loss first came up, he said the reason for this cost is that to prevent smuggling, the gold was pegged at a certain amount. Are you with us, Seth?
Yeah, I'm here.
And that is one of the factors that contributed to this cost versus loss.
Look, it is not today that, Ghana started buying and exporting gold. PMMC had done this activity over the years, and the results are there. So this excuse, well, fine. We are using whatever foreign exchange that comes in to shore up the city. So we think that, I think the argument they are making is that if we are shoring up the city, and therefore that is the cost for us shoring up the city. Again, I have a problem.
What would you have done differently? Because, like you mentioned, one of the explanations that we have received, or justifications, so to speak, is that, okay, through the Gold for Reserves program, we've seen the performance of the cedi against major trading currencies like the US dollar. We've seen the turnaround of the economy, so to speak. We've seen the inflation rates. We've seen the real benefits of this program in other ways. So this cost is really the cost of all the benefits that we're seeing. Now, if you were handling this program, the Gold for Reserves program, what would you have done differently to prevent this cost? Still bearing in mind the other benefits we have seen in terms of the economy.
Well, my sister, gold is traded worldwide, like I mentioned earlier on. And there are best practices in the industry. At least, buying gold from people who are producing, you cannot pay the full price or even a premium, like I hear they are doing. The price structure should be such a way that you factor in your costs. Okay?
Okay.
But if you are saying because of smuggling has existed since time immemorial. You should be trying, to set up systems that will minimize smuggling. But the trade is a trade.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Seth. Let's come in studio now and speak to our guests in studio. Honorable.
Yes, sir. Now, well, I yesterday, as I sat on the Public Accounts Committee.
You were present?
Yes, I was present. And listening to the governor, I want to use this platform to commend him for being that objective, for being that professional, and for being candid with Ghanaians by giving the information that he gave. Let me also put on record that the account or the report that we are reviewing is 2024. It is not, it is the previous administration audit report that the current Public Account Committee is reviewing. That is what we are sitting on. I want to put that on record. And for me, he was very, very candid. He was very, very professional. He didn't do politics with it. He tried to be very professional and to put the issues as it was. Yeah. That, look, we cannot do politics with these things. The purpose of all the initiatives, whether gold for oil, gold for reserve, was meant for a purpose. It was to, how will I put it? It was to ensure that we are able to stabilize the cedi. So we shouldn't be doing politics with it. And I want to commend him for that. Somebody would have come to sit down, and he gave the figures, the losses that we incurred when we did good for oil. We incurred a loss of some 1.822 billion. You understand? And the board advised that that program should be scrapped. You understand? Even though we are incurring some losses in the goal for reserve, he's saying that, look, it is one of the best initiatives that is helping to stabilize our city, that is helping to stabilize our economy. So he was inviting industry players, even us, some MPs who are experts in it, that they will have a joint board meeting with the Bank of Ghana and the Gold Board, and they will invite other experts to come so that we sit down and look at the best way to be able to handle the program. Even if there are losses, how do we deal with the losses? You understand? And you see, there will always be losses. The goal for reserve is just not meant to make profits. That is not the essence of it. It is to actually support, to stabilize, stabilize the city and stabilize our economy. So you see, now it's a product that you can buy gold today, and the next minute you can buy gold, within the next 30 minutes the price will fall. So the differential, who bears it? That is what the governor is talking about. So all those differentials that come in as a result of price fluctuations and all of that, who bears it? That is the point that he's making. And he's saying that let's have a discussion on it objectively. If, say, we are giving Gold Board some $270 million to buy gold, okay? If price differentials come in as a result of foreign exchange differentials, who bears the cost? The differences. Bank of Ghana. So you see, the goal for oil, when the losses came, they pushed to Bank of Ghana to pay. Mm-hmm. And all the losses that gold for oil, gold for reserve have incurred, they always push it to Bank of Ghana to pay. So he's saying that, look, definitely, so all these things tells us that there will always be losses. You will make some gains, and the losses will always come.
Are the losses always as a result of the differentials, or is it the cost of operations as well?
Yeah, it's all part. But differential, the fluctuations and all of that is even what makes it more. You understand? So like I said, if you buy gold today, if let's say you buy, let's say this pen, you buy this pen today for 1 cedi, and the next minute they are telling you that it's 1.2 cedis. They added some 2 pesos to it. You understand? You haven't gone to sell. You have no sold yet. Already you have incurred loss.
No,
you've gained.
You understand?
0.8.
Yeah, 0.8. Excuse me. So that is basically how that trading is done, or that trade is done. So
I know nothing about gold trading.
Yeah,
but it would appear to me that the cost would rather appreciate when it comes to gold. That if there's a differential, the price would actually go up and not come down.
No, what I'm saying is that if you buy, let's say this is gold, you buy it for 10 cedis, okay? You buy it for 10 cedis, and that is how you bought it, 10 cedis. And the next day they are selling it at the international. The price is being quoted at, let's say, what is that? Let's say
100 cedis also.
Not 100 cedis, 10 cedis.
8 cedis.
Let's say 8 cedis. You understand? So are you gaining or you are losing? Did you gain? Yes, so that's what I mean. So it is something that there will always be losses. So he's saying that the anticipated losses, who bears the cost?
But they are also anticipating, there are also gains.
Yeah, definitely. There are gains. But the actual essence of the 2 programs, Gold for Oil, Gold for Reserve, is not for the gains. It is to show our reserves. Okay. You understand? It is to ensure stability. Okay. So the gains aspect, honestly, is not what we should be looking at. But the purpose it is serving, that is what we should be looking at. So he's now saying that when these losses arises, who bears it? All right. Bank of Ghana has taken so much and now is sophisticating. Okay. So finance minister should come in. And this is where he's inviting industry players to come around so that we can find a better way of dealing with it.
He's inviting the finance minister or the finance ministry to take up part of the cost. Do you agree?
No, I think it's prudent and realistic, because as the governor articulated, the BoG we no longer shoulder or cushion the operational losses because of it's also the bank also has to be fiscally disciplined. So I agree with him. Now the thing is that the governor ended up materially confirming everything that the IMF earlier what IMF earlier reported about the operational losses under the GoLD program, and it validates the IMF data. This calls into question earlier attempt by actors of this government to undermine the data. In the beginning they dismissed it as there wasn't any operational losses under the G4R. Then later he moved to acceptance or admission that yes, there were losses. Then later they said, okay, it was part of it was inherent cost as part of the model, the trading model of the program. And I think the governor also admitted that the operational losses are emanating from the trading model. So they do not buy the gold at premium price. They buy it at discounted price, and definitely you lose. Because if you are going to buy it at a discounted price, so instead of discounting it, you buy it at premium. Yeah, so you buy it at premium in order to, like you well articulated, to stop smuggling and other things. And I think, like Seth said, there could be other avenues to plug the loopholes, but this is one of them. This is one of it. We shouldn't think it is all gloomy. We should rather remodel, look at the trading model, and as Honorable said. But now one thing stood out for me. Earlier the governor admitted when he appeared before the Public Accounts Committee that the G4O, the gold for oil reserve, the operational loss in 2024 was $1.82 billion. But later on when he was answering CDs, when he was answering a question posed by the chairperson, he said it was 3.8. If you had monitored the conversation, getting to the latter part, the chairperson was saying that, are you sure? Because when I check your financials, as at 31st December, it was 1.8. And the governor said it was 3.8. On live television, I think it was not healthy. That discrepancy, we must be able to clarify that. Personally, I have gone through the 2024, Bank of Ghana's 2024 annual report and financial.
It was actually the total between the G4R and the G4, that is 3.8.
Exactly. So you get it. So that clarification is very important.
Yeah, definitely.
Because getting to the latter part, I was listening to them and I was asking myself, why this discrepancy? Why this debate over the figure? Because it does not engender confidence. Because if somebody is listening, and don't forget now, institutional coherence is important. We are dealing with Bank of Ghana, and public financials concern every Ghanaian. Okay. So when the governor says 3.8, I think it should have clarified. Now, like Doc is saying...
Did you do the addition yourself? Doc, did you do this addition to
yes,
find
based on the data they provided.
Okay,
yes.
So based on the data provided, you added the two and saw that it was...
Exactly.
All right.
So it's here.
Okay. All right.
You get it. So now it is very important that this discrepancy is clarified. But ultimately, I think it shifts the conversation. Now we have to look at how we can, tweak the trading model of the G4R, because it is an important element. It has stabilized. I think the benefit, the economic benefit that Ghanaians are enjoying is because of, one of the factors is the G4R. So we must commend it, just that we should be able to find a way, like the governor said, either the government will cushion, the Ministry of Finance will cushion the operational losses, because we are getting bigger benefit from the program, or we'll remodel it so that the losses will be minimal.
Mm-hmm. All right. Doc, you have the final word.
Yes. Now, I believe that Dr. Esiama's prudent management of the Bank of Ghana and the policy of the gold for reserve and gold for oil, that has been discontinued, which I have to commend him for discontinuing it.
The gold for oil program?
Absolutely. Under this program, we did not even know who the aggregators were, how much the gold was being sold for, and who were the off-takers. We didn't know. It was very opaque. And this is, I'm referring to the Auditor General's report on the gold for oil program. And I am calling for this government again, this is a clarion call for them to investigate, because the former vice president really bragged about his intervention in stabilizing the pump prices through the Go for Oil policy. And definitely, due to this opacity, we lost over 2.2 billion cedis as of 2024 due to this policy. So now it is a problem. Now, the issue of trying to stabilize our forex. I mean, there's an issue, underlying issue here that we need to really tackle and discuss. There's a big discrepancy between the interbank rate and then the Forex Bureau rate. But it is dollar that they sell. Why is that so? And I believe that as part of the intervention, government through the central bank has to set up an independent authority that regulates Forex rates. So you look at the MPA. The MPA sets prices for OMCs to follow. So if today the crude oil prices rises, they go into a conclave. They agree that, okay, we're going to increase it by 5% or 6% together with the OMCs. And then is reflected at the pumps. But today you go to a Forex Bureau in East Legon, you go to a Forex Bureau in Spintex, and you see discrepancies in the rates. But there's all dollar.
Doesn't the Bank of Ghana manage this?
No, they just manage the operations, right? But they do not really fix the rates for them. And I believe that now, if they fix the rates for them, the Bank of Ghana should supply Forex Bureaus with dollars. And Forex Bureaus in return should get a commission for selling the dollars. So if they give them a fixed rate through an authority, the Forex Bureau selling the dollar has no right in tweaking the rate. So that there will be a nexus between the BoG rate, interbank rate, and that of the Forex Bureau rate. So that it would further reduce the pressures on the cedi and the demand for the dollar. That would also appreciate our cedi. If we have an authority like that, so for example, if you're a Forex Bureau and maybe you take dollars from the BoG sets the rate for you. You cannot sell it more than a certain price. You only get a commission from selling the dollars.
From the BoG.
From the BoG. And you realize that the Gold for Reserve program, through the Gold Board, gives some form of incentives, which is the discount.
Yeah.
So that these artisanal small-scale miners will not smuggle this gold out of the country. So we can reflect. Another aspect is also to tackle the road transport system. Today, our import bill for petroleum products is about $400 million a month. How then do we diversify this aspect?
$400 million.
$400 million every month. That is the import bill for petroleum products. Diesel, petrol, and the rest. LPG and the rest. I am proposing, under the aegis of our great transformational plan, that we bring in EV vehicles to replace these internal combustion engines that dominate our road transport system.
Are those the chargeable cars?
The chargeable cars. And it's way cheaper and it's cleaner. Today, as I speak to you, air pollution kills about 28,000 of our people each year, of which 45% comes from our road transport system. So why don't we look at
28,000
Where
did you get this figure from?
And worldwide, is it worldwide?
No, Ghana.
In Ghana.
In Ghana, 28,000 people die from air pollution. Air pollution.
And you said this is from the WHO?
The WHO every year, of which 45% is contributed by our road transport system.
Is that from the exhaust?
Yes, ICE, internal combustion engines.
Wow.
Yes. So, and indeed, this is also a clarion call to the Interior Minister. I want to sympathize with the MTTD's personnel of police. You know, those that wear white and manage our traffic. They stand in the sun on the road and they are not even covered with nose mask. So as part of the operational framework, they should cover, because it's an occupational hazard. So that is just by the way. So I believe that if we can diversify our road transport system and bring in EV vehicles, right? Bring in even trucks that run on LNG. Have a policy that we would liquefy our natural gas right, and have our cars, even these major trucks that bring our food from the northern aspect to the southern aspect, run on LNG alone, it will reduce the cost of transportation by 60%. So all this multifaceted approach would also help in stabilizing the city so that we do not incur loss. And indeed, part of the issues that they mentioned is to do with the purity, the disparity in purity of the gold. If you buy it at spot price and the purity is maybe 98%, 96%, there's a loss. Because the LBMA spot price is in regards to 99.99% purity. So then there should be a policy that will say that, well, if you are a small-scale miner and you want to sell your gold, you should take it to an LBMA classified refinery, which we don't have now in Ghana.
Wouldn't that bring us back to the problem of smuggling?
No, but we should enforce the laws. We should tighten the loopholes. We should tighten the loopholes. We should pay our security, agents well. Because if somebody is earning 3,000 cedis a month and he can help somebody to smuggle gold out of the country and he's getting $10,000 kickback, of course he will do it to survive. So all these aspects affect the whole entire policy framework. And if we're able to do that, I think it will go a long way in mitigating this issue. But indeed, they need to go back and reignite the agenda of prosecuting people that cause loss under the aegis of the Gold for Oil policy.
But to answer the question on the invitation from the governor to the finance ministry to pay for the operations of the Gold for Reserves program, do you agree with that invitation?
I agree, because both of them are definitely benefiting from that policy.
Ghanaians are benefiting.
No, I mean, but in terms of institutional benefit, right, both of them are benefiting, and so they should maybe share the burden.
Okay.
If it could be true, maybe a fiscal policy, right? Maybe add 0.2 or 20 pesos extra to our liter of fuel. That would then go to cushion this policy. Because at the end of the day, in terms of economic costs, there has been a lot of benefit to the Ghanaian people.
Yes.
Today, as I speak to you, the cedi has appreciated by 40%. Inflation is down to a single-digit number, 5.4%.
Even 3.
You understand? So this is a finance minister that is working. This is a Bank of Ghana governor that is working. And indeed, one of the appointees of the president that I must commend, and I pray for wisdom and long life and prosperity. And indeed, I must say this, that President Mahama should extend his mandate beyond even retirement. That is the Chief Justice, Bafo Boni. Justice Bafo Boni.
Okay.
Because if your Honu can get an extension, which I don't think he deserves, Bafo Boni deserves
I'm not sure how this conversation came up. But let me come to Zoom. Let's take a final word.
Let me commend the Gold Board CEO Sami Jemfi for his transparency, accountability to the Ghanaian populace. I want to commend him. Like my brother said, he's been so transparent. Hitherto, we didn't even know who were the aggregators, who were benefit companies, and all of that. But he made it especially clear to everybody that these are the industry players, these are the aggregators, this is what happens in Gold Board and all of that. Transparency, Sami, kudos to you and your
I think in terms of transparency, a lot of the actors in this government have been very transparent. And I mean, from Sami Jemfi's Gold Board, the Attorney General.
And there are no options.
Yeah,
the people of Ghana are vigilant.
But we need to go and take a final word. We need to go and take a final word from our mining consultant. Seth is still on the line with us. Hello, Seth.
Yeah.
You've heard the contributions from our in-studio guests.
Most of what people in the studio, your guests in the studio are saying is right, but it is not perfectly right.
In terms of what?
You see, with every program, like they said, you have a cost aspect of it. The Gold for Oil also had a certain aspect of benefit, so that we should sort of look at it from that angle. The same way we are looking at Gold for Reserves, we should be looking at Gold for Oil in that same line.
Gold for Oil has totally been scrapped.
Sorry?
Gold for oil has totally been scrapped.
Yeah, it's been scrapped, but I'm saying that one of your panel members was saying that people should be prosecuted for whatever. And I said, the same way we are looking at gold for reserves, and we are saying that there are some benefits on the flip side. Gold for oil also, I'm sure, had some benefits on the flip side. But let me focus on 2024, gold for reserves. Like I was telling you, the average price for gold in 2024 was $2,388 per ounce. Today, as we speak, gold is $4,600 per ounce. What volume of gold do we have in reserve? And shouldn't we be revaluing that stock to reflect current prices?
Okay.
That's why I'm saying that maybe the Bank of Ghana and the Gold Board are not doing something right, because all these losses we are talking about, if you strike the difference, gold has appreciated 92%.
Okay.
Between 2004, end of 2004, and the end of 2000, so today,
Okay.
which is January.
Okay.
So
Okay.
shouldn't we be revaluing our stock,
Okay.
which has appreciated in value?
All right.
So there's something that is
There's something
not
amiss.
adding up.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us on the phone lines. Our mining consultant, Seth Wolashime. And in studio, we've had Austin Bracco Powers, private legal practitioner, and the Honorable Cletus Dapla.
Yes, Cletus
Yes, yes.
Dapla, MP for Jirapa.
Yes. Did you want to say something?
Yes, the mining consultant, Imani mining consultant, the governor will extend an invitation to you when the two boards meet, Gold Board and then...
To advise.
So that we'll take your advice on
Yes.
board. We want the best for Ghana, not
Yes.
politically.
Yes.
If Ghana is good, it's for all of us.
Yes.
When it was bad, we all suffered it. So if it is good, we all enjoy.
Yes.
We want the enjoyment
Thank you,
aspects.
our Honourable Member of Parliament for Jirapa, and also in studio, Dr. Ramsey Inusa, Director of Political Research for the United Party. And I told you I had a story about Jirapa. So I was in Wa and wanted to go to Jirapa, and I was told to get on a bike and that it would be 1.5 hours.
Oh,
it was 3 hours.
On a motorbike?
Yes.
Wow.
it was, and
I think
the nature of the road.
The road has become so deplorable now.
So I went against all the advice I was taking. I was told, just go in a car, it'll be a full day's trip. I said, no, I wanted to go on a bike.
But I'm sure when you
and
went
I came
to
back
Jirapa,
with waist pain.
you enjoyed Jirapa. You had
I
fun
came back
at
with
Dubai.
waist pain. Yeah, so I'll tell you the rest of the story off air.
No problem.
But thank you so much for joining
The road will be fixed.
this conversation.
They'll